of course, US, all of us know as to how it arm twisted the Indian government to ensure that, they get the better deal, and India had to suffer because of the authoritarian ways of Donald Trump. India as a country is standing tall against the world order. I don't want to see, or they don't want to give credence to anything which is human in nature.
Yeah.
They are giving more importance to automation, and I think this intimidation has given us an option to, look east, look at other countries, look at Southeast Asia, or look at Europe to ensure that we get a deal done. I would not want to have a view on anything. I would let the analysts have a view, let experts have a view, and let my audience have the view.
We often talk about the stories that make headlines, but we rarely talk about the strategy behind them. How do you take a dry government policy or a US election result and make it matter to a young professional in Mumbai? Today, we are joined by Vertika Kanaujia, the operations editor at the Financial Express. She is a Chevening scholar and a Columbia alumna with over 2 decades of experience. From anchoring primetime TV to leading digital newsrooms, she has mastered the art of bridging hard economics with human impact. Vertika, welcome to the Journalist Story Series Attraction.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Vertika, you specialize in the US-India corridor. So beyond the photo ops of leaders shaking hands, you would see a lot of things over the digital media and, the story actually which is behind that picture. So what is one economic metric you track to see the partnership is actually working on the ground?
So very frankly, it's beyond the sound bites, beyond the headlines, beyond the tweets, and beyond the photo ops, as we call them. It lies in the details. It lies in the fine print. And we'll see as to how a trade pact or a trade talk or negotiations between two countries, or the relationship between the country is literally emerging and moving towards a long-term solution, is when we see what lies in the document between the two countries when they sign it. So the two important trade deals that happened in the last 6 months, one is with the UK and the other one is with the US. Of course, US, all of us know as to how it arm twisted the Indian government to ensure that, they get the better deal, and India had to suffer because of the authoritarian ways of Donald Trump into ensuring that we do capitulate. I'm sure the government has tried its best to immune the sensitive sectors and spaces that they didn't want to get into. But still, if you look at the framework, it doesn't literally establish a strong sense of long-term partnership. It just establishes what US could have extracted from us and how much we could save ourselves from that space. And in that return, what all we could take from that country. Last year, we were at a 3 to 4% of tariff with the US. Now they impose an 18% on us by threatening us with a 50% tariff in between. So that clearly shows that on paper, we were handcuffed into doing a deal with them. Similarly, with the UK. There are some headline numbers about how the automobile sector is going to go down, whereas when we look at the fine print, there isn't much that's coming out. Farmers are still very apprehensive of how we struck these deals. So there are questions being asked about them. Whereas there isn't much of a strategic long-term expectation, investments, Make in India policies that we've really heard about. Yes. So of course, I mean, a lot has to be seen as to how things move from now on. It's just a framework with the US, but still, the devil, as we say, it's far beyond the optics. It's in the detail, and we have to see the detail as to how they pan out. With the US changing their draft policies every now and then about what's included or excluded in the deal. So yes, I think this is a new era that we live in. This is an era of a lot of intimidation and bullying, an era where globalization has come to a standstill, where an inward-looking policy is something that's making up the world. But yeah, it's an interesting era to follow and cover as a journalist.
That sounds great. But on this point of view of yours, I just wanted to understand that you said India suffered because of a lot of policies which has gone through this collaboration and all. So just wanted to understand that what are your views on how India can deal with it? I mean, as a journalist, if you see the whole geopolitical scenario, what are your views? Maybe if you can just put down.
I
Uh,
think one is I'm happy that India is not capitulating or bowing to the US demands as much as it wants us to. It can't be dictating us in terms of what who we deal with, who we do business with, and what all access can we provide them. Because it threatened us and showed us a scenario that how 50% tariff can spoil our GDP and our sectors. It showed us a very, very bad, black hole that our country can get into. And then it just took us, a bit out of it to showcase, okay, this is better than where you were. So
yeah.
that's how we did the deal.
Hmm.
So I think India is very diplomatic in its sense of one. Protecting its farm sector.
Yeah.
Still, some spaces that there are still to be understood as to what all we can expect from the US companies entering in the India market, because there are some spaces that are still fluid in nature and there isn't much of transparency. But India as a country is standing tall against the world order. I think the fact that India has announced to the world that the Russia oil deal is still not ended, we're
Yeah.
still buying. So there are these important pointers and factual details that are emerging far beyond the rhetoric that showcases that India doesn't want to be a Pakistan, which will just go down softly behind Trump and do what they want us to do. We are being impacted. Of course, there are several sectors which are badly hurt right now, but still, we want to stand tall and stand up for the country, for the people that we have. Because if the US has at one place is making us difficult to do business with them, we have the entire world open. And I think this intimidation has given us an option to look east, look at other countries, look at Southeast Asia, or look at a Europe, to ensure that we get a deal done, because that Europe deal was also pending for a long time.
Yes. Yes. It was.
Realize that India is now open as a strong superpower to deal with other countries and not just succumb to a US pressure to get things out or get things done.
Yes. 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 Um, we spoke actually about a complex topic. So a question comes up here about the editorial strategy you would follow for such kind of write-ups. So in a role in the journalism field where you're working right now, you sit at the intersection of editorial strategy and business operations in a digital newsroom driven by clicks and a lot of to and fro's coming up inside when you just start writing a story. How do you balance the algorithm? I mean, how do you balance the algorithm of what goes viral versus what is important in journalism?
So, okay, for me, the user is at the core of all that I do.
Okay.
I define my user, I
Okay.
define what the user would need from me, and I cater to the user accordingly. And a user may be interested in a breaking news happening like right now, or a user is interested in an in-depth analysis of the news.
Yeah.
So it's all about what the user would want and how FE as a brand would stand up for them. So I joined this organization a year back, and so we've brought in a lot of changes to showcase as to what FE really is and how we want to be more of a consumer space. That we literally have the consumer in the mind of all our writers when they're writing a story, to ensure that this is a person who I want to speak to, and this is something that a question that they want to get answered. So it can be an update on, say, a stock markets or or earning session season, or maybe the US trade deal. So that's like the the fast-paced news updates that we give them. And then we also know that our readers are more interested in understanding the perspective of a story better. So then
Yeah.
we'll ensure that we get into the right kind of subject matter experts, we're getting their views out. So see, I as a journalist, in the end of the day, I would not regard me myself as a subject matter expert on anything. I'm a
Yeah.
journalist who report the news. So I would not want to have a view on anything. I would let the analyst have a view, let experts have a view, and let my audience have the view, or people who stakeholders or the policymakers have that view. I can just collate what they say together and report that, and that's what journalism is all about. Journalists are nowhere. I mean, we're not the news. We should never be the news.
Yeah.
It's always the people around us. They should be the news. I think that era is very old school. It's fairly moved beyond, because these days journalists have bigger views than people who really matter. But for a consumer to feel that this space really understands what I want, and they cater to my sensibilities. They're not biased in approach. They're not speaking on behalf of a corporate. They don't have their ulterior motives in reporting a story. So that's when the trust comes in. So the biggest thing that I would want to build with my reader is trust, and that's where they would want to come back to me. Otherwise, there's these viral content. They would see me somewhere and they would see me once and they would never come back. For a editor, for a journalist, for a newsroom, what really matters is to build loyal readership.
Yeah.
So print had that yes, you have a subscription and you're reading the newspaper,
Hmm.
whereas digital, it's very very limited, because you are bombarded with content across. You would not want to come back to the website every day if you're not interested in the content. You didn't have a great experience, because you get news from everywhere. Whereas if you think that, okay, this place gives me value, it'll give me a sense of news satisfaction every day I go to them, or anytime I go to them during the day, then yes, then then my job is done. So that's how we try to balance between the world of algorithms and journalism per se.
Journalism perspective. Sounds great. Sounds great, Vertika. So you've spent almost 2 decades in TV, and now you have moved to digital leadership. So I think we all are aware TV is all about visuals, and digital is all about data, all around. So I just wanted to understand that what is that one TV habit you had to unlearn to succeed and to move to this role?
So, okay, the transition was not very quick. The transition was also paced out in a way that I moved away from television because of the noise and the chatter.
Yeah.
In 2017, I went to UK with my Shielding scholarship and did my MBA Media Management. So that's when I think the doors opened to understand what the new way of doing journalism is all about, where we're meeting the journalists from across the world, understanding their perspectives, and then professors who brought along the global way of thinking as to how media is moving and shifting. Um, so that's why when I came back to India and I started with Hindustan Times 4 years back, it was all about I came as a different person.
Yeah.
So television was like way behind my back at that point of time. But think one thing that I would not want to do in television. I think there are several, but television is very focused, right? Television, if you switch on a television, I've seen the pragmatic shift in television. So when I started my career in 2004, it was all about you would get everything in television, right? If you look at a news bulletin for half an hour, or 9 p.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever, you knew that you're getting some national politics, you're getting some crime, you're getting entertainment, sports. So it was a good one half an hour, and you're all informed after that. Whereas now it's all about breaking news. It's all about the chatting. So I don't think news channels are covering stories. I think only 4 to 5 stories are covered in depth. So get me understand. They will just break a story, move on, or a ticker will flash a story, move on.
Yes.
The approach is very limited. Approach is so very National Politics Limited, which is a big dampener for people, and that's why I think a lot of people are moving away from television. They're not showcasing real stories. They're not showcasing ground realities. They're not being the voice of the people. They're not giving people stories they should be reading about, say, business, journalism, finance. There's so many things that people should know about in terms of their personal finance, taxation, or their rights as consumers. Nothing. You would not find anything right now. The um, headlines are all over about this one said this one. There's a face off, and it's just about a lot of noise and chatter, which is in the end not very profitable for any consumer. And I think that's one thing which irritated me as a journalist when I was in television. And that's something I've left behind. I'm very happy because over here we're covering it all. We're ensuring that we try to give our readers, if there's a Bangladesh election happening today, we're covering that. We're covering the T20 World Cup. We're covering anything beyond that, apart from the core business news that we have. So yeah, I mean that's why I feel that I'm in a saner place now. At least I can do journalism with my peaceful newsroom around. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had this conversation at peace in a television newsroom. It
Yeah.
was very different to even have like a normal conversation over there.
Yes, yes, yes. I think the version of TV news has quite changed over time. I mean, I do remember that our grandparents and parents, they used to sit in that black and white television and just wait for that prime time news at 7. And
Exactly.
that was all about, just that was coming, and that's why they'll sit at 7 o'clock to see that. Now I don't think that news factor is still is there. I mean, all the other multimedia things have replaced that prime time news, and as the sources have also increased, so that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
lost
No,
essence.
that's why it's become very infotainment. It's
Yeah,
not really news. You're not getting okay after finishing a news bulletin or watching the television for 5 minutes. You won't feel that okay, I learned something new. Okay, oh, I didn't know about this. That kind of feeling. I mean, yes, I would still say that the business channels still have some sanctity in place, and
yeah,
they'll ensure that you get the nice coverage. But if you're talking about the national channels, hardly. I mean, we would not even see any business news going on these channels until and unless it's a budget day.
it is.
So that's the kind of space that we are in.
Yeah. So, as an operations editor now at Financial Express, you design how news is consumed as of now. With attention spans shrinking to just 15 seconds, 20 seconds in the long form, so in the long form editorial. So, do you think that long form editorial concept is dead now, or does it need a new reformation or a new package?
I don't think long form will die. I think it's all about relevance that people are interested in right now. I'll tell you. I think because of this saturation of content all around us, people are more interested in looking at the headline. But if they find that one article which is intriguing enough, which they feel that this is something uh, that they should root, they would go into that.
Yeah.
So, long form is something which journalism literally, it's a soul of journalism. So, to see that it's dying is not something that we would want as journalists. One, second is data is suggesting that we do have some good relevant content being read by people.
Hmm.
So, in Financial Express domain as well, we have some properties that we built, which are long form, which are in depth in nature, which are well read. So it's just about how you package. So a tedious academic way of writing is gone, but
Yeah.
a long form which is more intriguing in nature, which is more informative but light in nature, added with more visual elements, with something which is more engaging for a person. So yes, maybe a person will read 2 to 3 pieces. The number of articles may go down, but the value can never go down. It is there. So yes, the kind of content which can be long form is also very very different from the viral content. Viral content is just snappy. It'll just it's very instant gratification kinds. But
Yes.
but real loyal readers who are still interested in news and understand it with a great perspective,
Yeah.
they would still not give up on long forms because they value what the content will be all about.
Yeah. So, Artika, when we started, we were speaking about the future of work, like how is the job market going to be with a lot of technology, AI, and all of those coming up. So, when you as operations editor, you look at the data on layoffs and automation coming up today in the market. So, are we seeing a temporary correction or a permanent restructuring of the Indian job market?
Oh, it's across the globe. It's not just the Indian job market which is seeing this disruption, right? Across the world. I mean, for the last 1 week, the US market has been falling. The
Yeah.
tech stocks over there have been falling because now the Wall Street is now looking at a space that they don't want to see, or they don't want to give credence to anything which is human in nature.
Yeah.
They are giving more importance to automation. So
Automation.
one launches, and there it just takes away billions of dollars of market cap from big tech companies. Indian tech companies are like really in a bad space right now because they were the serviced IT industry which was providing the global partners with a lot of value. Having said that, so it is here to stay. Now this new era, not many people know how to handle it because there's so many unforeseen spaces that we might enter into, is keeping everyone, at a bated breath. Everyone wants to now evolve, ensure that their effectiveness is improved by adopting AI, because only with the help of AI can I, beat the impact of AI. If I'm not AI relevant, I may be irrelevant very, very soon. So that's why, as journalists, we have incorporated AI in our uh, operations. Not to write. We're still not using AI to write. We are using AI to, streamline a lot of other technicalities that we have in place. Using AI for our data analytics, and using AI for making our delivery smoother, our operations smoother. So that's how AI has to be adopted, because this disruption is here to stay. It's gonna make a new normal, not just for journalism but also for several other sectors. Maybe the communication world as well. You know how things are evolving and changing. A lot of jobs may get irrelevant from here on. But yeah, I think it's yet to be seen as to how it's going to impact. But the impact is going to be there. It can't be a one-off thing which is gonna stop.
What do you think, Vartika? This AI era or the AI revolution which has come up right now, will it be permanent? Because I come from the place where I was just thinking of the fact that now we have had a lot of new machines coming up, but still, people new type of vehicles coming up, but people still search for cycles now. So, what do you think that is this AI thing permanent? I mean, what's
See,
your view?
again, I think that's you. What you're talking about is what a lot of analysts call AI bubble.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of billions and billions of dollars which is being spent into improvising the AI capability of these machines.
Yes.
Frankly, it's not reached at a level where they can overtake humans, because humans are still more intellect in their way of emotional intelligence that they bring on the table.
Yes.
But I think the tech czars of the world, they are out there to ensure that AI wins as against humans, because the earning season came out, and that's where every company in the world, from a Microsoft to a Google to a Tesla, all of them, I think by 60 to 70%, they've improved their investments in AI. So they are trying to ensure that the AI wins against the human. So it's like a war. It's like a war where we are investing in technology and doing away with empathy. I
Yeah.
am a very empathetic leader. I mean, I for me, empathy really matters because I I I value people. I remember going to a Zara store in Bangalore, and I was amazed to see the the counter, it didn't have a single human being. It just had these self checkout spaces.
Yeah.
So it seemed that that place looked so empty. So I'm sure those three computers over there must have taken some 5 to 6 people's jobs. So because India is a very, it's a big population country which is still struggling with employment and services. So AI as a space may take away a lot of jobs. Until the time these new jobs are created, we still to see that happening, because new sets have to be adopted. The kids who are in school right now, aiming to be a corporate person, software engineer, medical,
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, now we see these tech giants talk about how in the next 5 6 years there would be no jobs available. Everything is going to be taken over. These are doomsday theories that people are really scared of, because for a parent, it's very tough to understand what subject child should study. Because if you're saying, okay, engineer is gone out, any other degree can be easily overtaken. What do they do? So these
Mm.
are questions that are still being discussed. No one can really with certainty say that, yeah, this is how it's going to be, or this is not how it's going to be. We don't know. We're living in a world of uncertainty in terms of geopolitics, in terms of globalization, in terms of AI disruptions, in terms of human value. Yes, it's a crazy world to be in.
It's I think it has now become difficult to decide who is going to win, like artificial intelligence or emotional intelligence. And it's actually becoming tough nowadays. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have been mentoring young journalists now, and you have been in a leadership role. So what would you guide them to focus on? Like, what would you want them to become? Maybe a subject matter expert, a multimedia generalist, or a journalist?
I think to start with, everyone should be a multimedia generalist. You
Okay.
know why? Because you at least understand and have a skill set to of each and everything. You know where you are. You
Yeah.
understand the ecosystem. You understand videos. You understand text. You understand television. You understand YouTube and other spaces. And only once you understand, that's when you get to understand. Yes, this is what I want to. You can't just step into a video field and say, yeah, this is where I am and this is where I'm going to be the king of the world. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You need to understand television. You need to understand how publishing work or social media works. Or maybe there are a lot of technical departments within a news organization. So having an understanding of that would help you be better with what you want to be, and then growing in that field to the next level. So I started with television at a very I was started with the production in television, and then so now no one can bluff me in my team that I can't do this. This is not
Yeah.
doable, because I can do it. So
Yeah.
I would not be paralyzed if a member is not there. I said, okay, I can do it. So I'm not in that space that, oh, I only know this much, I can't move and do their job, because I've created a base for me in such a way that, yes, I know that person's job as well. Okay, I can take care of it. So that's why at a low level, I've seen the Gen Z with that mindset of, I'm the best, and I'm a subject matter expert. At 17, 18, they think that they are subject matter experts. They're not, because the kind of they just lack experience. They would be getting all their knowledge from social media, from books, and the studies. And because obviously they've born in the digital world, whereas we grew and we learned with experience. So experience still is important. Understanding of the environment still is important. And then you become the subject matter expert. Then you say, okay, after 5 years, I understand the subject well. I
Yeah.
move on to become the PhD. And that's how our education system is also in place. You learn all the subjects, you learn in class 10, 12, and then you move on to specialize in one subject, which you think, yeah, that's your core. And that's
Yeah.
when you want to grow. That's same with journalism or any other field.
Yeah. So, if I could sum up, I think this would be the last generation of leaders who have actually done each level of work themselves And so they don't fear if a team member leaves or a team member just says, I can't do it. And they just end up, teaching them or doing the task themselves and showing. So leadership is all about working with your team and not like going ahead and just ordering them or commanding them, right? So I think we can call it off, Vertika, and it was really nice having you for this series and this episode. Anything else you would like to pass on, or anything else you would like to advise the new gen?
No, I think we started with this conversation before starting this interview, that every field has its own challenges. I think a lot of people don't really understand the challenges that journalists go through while reporting a story. The world is not just changing for X sector or Y sector; it's changing for journalists as well. So reporting a story is becoming tougher, because not just that we have uh, revenue forces working against us, or maybe the change in Google, or maybe our fight against machine when we're trying to report a story. So I think people need to value the kind of work that journalists are doing, who are trying to report the right kind of story. Because reporting genuine good stories is also, it takes a lot of effort for us to do that. So, I think I just have to say that about from the from the fraternity to the world, that it's a struggle every day to bring out the newspapers, to put out the stories that we do, or maybe create a bulletin over there, because there are challenges. We most of the time we like working 13 hours, 14 hours a day, not working on Diwalis and Holis to ensure that we report the news. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's fun, because all of us survive with this adrenal rush.
That's really nice. And it was really a very nice conversation with you, Vertika. We spoke about different dimensions, and the insights were really wonderful. I mean, obviously, the new gen will cherish this. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Vertika.